Universal Studios. People love the Universal Express product, well, mainly because, they don't sell a lot of them, that being Universal Parks. They only sell enough of them, and then they're a limited time thing, limited amount, and that way you can keep those standby queues moving. But also, too, those people who actually buy into Express, well, they have a nice product to have with them. The rollout has been slow for Epic Universe, but it has been largely welcomed at the existing parks over there in Universal Orlando Resort, that being Universal Studios Florida and Islands of Adventure. But we might be seeing the debut of a brand new product, and we have to put this on screen right now because this is a big, big story. Here you go from Orlando Theme Park Zone. New type of Universal Express Pass currently being tested at Universal Orlando. Stay tuned, as this is a developing story. It would appear that a new type of Universal Express Pass is currently being tested at Universal Orlando. Approximately 13 hours ago, ex-user D. Scott 214 posted a photo of an A-frame, which is advertising, quote, the limited time offering called Universal Express Single Attraction Access. Photo and blurb can be found below. It's interesting because Theme Park Wizard and I were going back and forth on this. He was the first one to alert me, like, hey, look, listen, look out for this. This is going to be a test that's going to roll out in the coming days. And I was like, whoa, this sounds big. I was hearing it was going to be called Universal Express Now. But that's interesting that they're going with the single attraction access language, at least here. Limited time offering, Universal Express Single Attraction Access. Skip the regular line one time for this attraction now. Valid theme park admission required only for the same day single use at attraction selected. Limited inventory, benefits subject to change and or cancellations without notice, restrictions apply. According to ex-user at FlackGod, the Universal Express Single Attraction Access Pass is currently being tested at 2 attractions, one per park. Revenge of the Mummy over there at Universal Studios Florida, and Skull Island Reign of Kong at Universal's Islands of Adventure. You can kind of see right here what the language is being used in the app provided by Imagineer 6 right there. $24.99 to bypass the line at these specific attractions one time. Guys, I want to know from you, is this a good move by Universal right here? This is a very interesting product. We've seen something like this being pushed out by Disney, but usually it's only limited to their most in-demand attractions or their newest offerings. Now we're seeing something that, well, if you don't want to buy into all of Express for the day, maybe you could do it per attraction if given the time. Your thoughts and any questions you might have for this? I have limited information, but hopefully I can help.
I'm just going to tell you, I saw this morning and I was working on an article for that Park Place on this. So I called Universal. I spoke with the team member about it. Initially, they hadn't even known that this was happening. That particular team member, they brought it up on their computer.
Really?
Yeah, they brought it up on their computer. They found out the information that they could find for me, and it was very limited information. So I got in touch with Dan's Life Kingdom, who is actually at Universal right now, and it doesn't look like those A-frames are up to date. At least he said he hasn't seen any. So we were looking for how limited this rollout actually is. It does appear to be some type of test for something that they might be doing. Now, I am wondering if this is not just in response to how Disney has updated their Lightning Lane from when it was first Genie Plus. So Disney's the evolution of the skip the line service at Disney is very interesting because a decade ago, even a little less than a decade ago, their Fast Pass Plus service was free. It wasn't great, but it was at least free. And then 2021, Disney Genie Plus comes along and it's no longer free, but it's definitely less expensive than Universal's. However, it's very convoluted and you have to get online and there's attractions that aren't available and blah, blah, blah. The Express Pass with Universal, what was always so nice about it, it was clean. It cost a lot more, but then once you purchase it, every ride's available to you. And there's a special line for that in the Express Lane, and you just go right up front. And basically, you've almost completely eliminated your wait time at every single attraction, which is a great product. Disney didn't do anything like that until October of last year when they finally introduced the Premier Lightning Lane Pass. The problem with the Premier Lightning Lane Pass that I have, it's a huge upgrade. It costs as much as $450 basically a person at the Magic Kingdom on certain days, and it allows you to go to every attraction once in the Lightning Lane, but you're sharing that Lightning Lane with people who have purchased in at a much lower rate. So it's still not like Express Lane where that is front of the line. but it was Disney's way of saying we're going to compete directly with the Express Pass at Universal. And Universal now might be replying in kind that, well, hey, there's something that we can do to make a situation more affordable for guests, where if there are very particular attractions that they want to skip the line for, just like with the individual Lightning Lane pass at Disney, now you could potentially have that option at Universal. So I think they're doing some testing right now to see if it's a viable option for them, to see what the Universal guests think who do purchase this right now. They're probably going to be doing a lot of surveys on it, a lot of guest questioning, maybe rolling it out at some attractions that I don't know that the Mummy is usually a horrifically long wait, or even Kong Skull Island, but it's interesting that they chose those two to test this out at, because it's not the most popular rides yet. So it's going to be interesting to see, like, they got to be testing numbers, how limited this can be, how much it can be. They don't want it to affect those guests that purchase the express lane, have a really, really fast, like their skip the queue is probably far more efficient than Disney's. And they don't want it to affect that in a negative way.
I would imagine so, and it's very interesting. I was talking over with Jonas about this and why the attractions Kong and Mummy may have actually been chosen for this test. And I had to think that in terms of demand, guest demand, it's kind of neutral, right? It's not like they're under I guess accessed by guests, right? But they're also not so in demand that it might skew your test results. So it's just kind of like this, like I was saying before, this kind of guest demand neutral series of attractions that they're testing this out specifically on. Hopefully I explained
it wasn't
correctly.
Hagrid's, it wasn't Velocicoaster.
Right. Exactly. And you would have thought that's what they were going for. And maybe that is the goal. But right now, they're keeping it with these two attractions. Culture, I want to hear from you. Good idea, bad idea? I mean, I suppose there's some benefit, especially if the queue is really long and you have this kind of this offer that you put in front of guests to say, look, skip this line by doing this. But I can also see a lot of people having a lot of issues with this. Please go ahead.
I think this is a terrible idea. They had managed to separate themselves completely from Disney, and this is a step in the wrong direction. People are tired of paying extra money. It's the same thing with, this is like, theme park DLC at this point. So it's like, do I have to purchase the DLC so I can go on this attraction? And again, queuing theory, if you know anything about it, and we have somebody in our community who actually did their thesis, is kind of against doing any of these kind of skip the line kind of ideas.
Right.
The only reason that Legacy FastPass worked the way it did is because it was, this is the range of times, this is the amount of jump the line you get, this is when you come back. So it kept everybody moving, and it did effectively limit, the number of people who were skipping the line. So there were a lot of like very time-based factors that were designed into it so that people who were early birds got in and out of the park as fast as they possibly could, leaving space for the later arriving guests or the people that sleep in. And it worked at night as well. The problem being is that when you start asking people to pay more money, then it's like it's an us versus them thing. Whereas instead of it being like a super convenience that is, available to everybody, people who used the system had incredible experiences. And people who didn't, they just had a different kind of experience, and it was all based on their choices. This is based on money, and money's going to be the thing that, again, will make people's opinion of Universal fall. And I think it'll actually hurt them. I don't know why anybody would do this.
I'm not a fan of something like this. It's just there is a perverse incentive structure that occurs with this, right? Where you have attractions that may actually have the system or implement something or a system like this. You go, okay, well, even if it's like you only activate it during certain thresholds, then management's like, oh, we got to hit those thresholds in order to activate this in order to increase revenue for our parks. I mean, that's kind of how these things actually operate and go. Right now, it's just a test, but not a fan of something like this for the reason that culture actually brings out, it's a little bit too complex. Express, I think Ron was exactly right. The all-inclusive nature of it, the simplicity with how you use a product like that, I think is the main attraction right there. And especially for that higher price point. This kind of thing, especially at an introductory price of $24 or $25, an attraction, I'm not super enthused about this one. I understand the benefits it might have for a guest, especially if you're paying so much money to actually be down there. You're only there for a day, and you come up on like a queue, and it's like, ooh, I didn't necessarily think about buying Express, but I can buy it for this one attraction right here, maybe. But again, there's a lot of scenarios that play out there with guests. Go ahead, Ron.
Yeah. It's just, again, it does look like they are testing it, and maybe that's exactly the answer they're going to get, is this is a bad idea. Yeah. Or maybe it'll be, well, maybe this is okay to roll out during just Christmas or something like that. I don't really know. But what I would say, for me as a guest, my best solution is a massively awesome queue. Because as a theme park guest, somebody who's been going my entire life, remembering what the outside waits at Six Flags were like when they were like literally just a line with no theming whatsoever, then going to Disney World for the first time and seeing some really awesome queuing and the development of queuing, with the bad side of that being the queue at Tiana's, it literally takes you through a historic slave operated mine. That's not good. But if you get great queuing, like I love the Avatar Flight of Passage queue. I think that queue is designed so well. If you're doing queuing right, then being in the queue is as much a part of the experience as the ride itself. And I really just wish that these theme park companies, all of them, would focus on giving the guests that amazing experience where, the wait itself is part of the attraction. And, because when that's the case, people might actually even be less motivated to buy the Express or Lightning Lane type pass, because there are certain things I know for myself, for many, many years, I was, using the FastPass Plus to access Peter Pan, and I never even saw the queue. And more recently, it was like a 30-minute wait, no big deal. So I got in and saw the entire queue, and I'm like, wow, I can't believe I've been missing out on this queue. This queue is awesome.
Yeah,
where you go through the room with the kids and everything. Yeah, it's really a lot of fun. And I think that needs to be the main focus of these theme park companies. But it's unfortunate because there's a lot of executives who their main focus is the bottom line. How do we make more money? How do we monetize this? I mean, at some point in time, Disney's going to be offering alcoholic beverages in the queue for people who didn't buy Lightning Lane.
I'm sure that's coming, Ron. I'm sure that's coming. I want to go ahead and throw up a couple of our commenters right here, because I think it's really interesting, really apt. Tony, why upset 80% of your guests to make 20% happy? It's very, very true right there. Kanan Barnes, the Ministry of Magic queue is the coolest one I've ever seen in my life. That's for sure. To Ron's point, I think that's extremely accurate. Men in Black queue is awesome, yes, and unfortunately, for the future, Theme Park Wizard saying, expect this to roll out in Hollywood as well, with debut of Fast and Furious. I really hope they don't do this. I agree with culture. Not liking this, for sure. Universal, come on now. But at least Universal has been open to hearing feedback with these tests and saying, hey, let's not do this, let's do this, whatever. So, hey, make your voices heard right there. Maybe offer Universal just a little bit of, very politely, hey, we don't prefer this. Just keep Express the way it is. I think that would help them out right there. But we want to go ahead and know from you in the comment section down below what you think of something like this. Like it, love it, hate it? Please let us know in the comments down below.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.